Dr. Bawumia has developed a habit of peddling outrageous lies whilst grinning on the stage. He says that excess capacity charges amount to 17 billion Ghana cedis, and it's one of the reasons why we are suffering. Is that not what he said? It's on page 29.
It's a reason for a deficit.
Randy,
deficit.
Let me put it on record that it is an absolute untruth that they have paid excess capacity charges of 17 billion. When the finance minister was asked on 17th June 2021, and mind you, it is the finance minister who pays,
yes,
not Dr. Bawumia.
Yes.
He said that they had paid a total of $937 million to three entities, AXA, SemPower, and Car Power. You recall that even prior to that, they had started claiming that they used to pay $1 billion annually in capacity charges.
That's what led to the question.
Good.
By Sumini.
Randy, all that is not true. It is a lie. You see, they are making payments to energy sector operators. But not all of it is capacity charges. Capacity charge is less than $1 billion, as the Minister of Finance disclosed. And how do you know it? Look, in 2019, they furnished the Energy and Finance Committees of Parliament with a breakdown of payments in the energy sector. They made payments to Ameri, Letasco, AXA, Car Power, Sunona Sogli, TMF. TMF is not a power plant. There's a company called Stratcom Energy, formed in July 2017. There's widespread belief that they have links to people in power. They were paid $122 million.
They are not an
IPP. Yeah. And then GMPC. GMPC is not an IPP. Most of these payments are for fuel. The total came to 5.1 billion.
But that's what Stratcom does.
Exactly. Yeah. Yet they mischievously and falsely say this is capacity charges. Randy, I have obtained a copy of ECG's audited accounts for 2020, and then their unaudited accounts for 2021. There's an item they call government grants. In 2020, they pay 6.8 billion. In 2021, they pay 4.6 billion. When you add it, it's about 11.4 billion. They claim that this is capacity charge. But what has happened is that ECG is operating at a loss. They have about 30% commercial losses because they are not charging economic tariffs. Since 2019, government has stopped them from increasing tariffs. When that happens, government must make up for the shortfall through subsidies. Over time, it has built. So government regularly pays this subsidy to ECG. ECG is not a power producer. They're a power distributor, if you like, supplier. Yeah. So it is not capacity charges. The reason why they have put out that it is capacity charges is to, you see, they have demonized take-or-pay agreements in order to prepare the minds of the public to blame the NDC falsely and wrongly for it. Randy, let me put it on record also. You know, I have expertise in energy. Take-or-pay clauses have always been part of our energy agreement because no investor will set up an IPP if he doesn't have a guarantee that you will offtake the power they produce. So it is standard industry practice. The power agreements President Kufuor signed had take-or-pay. We brought in 6 emergency power agreements. AXA, Car Power, Ameri, SemPower you can't really describe as because it was there before the crisis hit, and then 2 others. And if you go to the energy sector now, today, our total installed capacity is a little about 5,000 megawatts. The ones that are available today is about 3,600 megawatts. There was a day that our peak demand was 3,500 megawatts. The excess was just 100 megawatts. So it is agreed in the industry that you must have between 12 to 20% reserve margin, so that if one of the plants go off or some of them are taken out for any reason, you will be able to put it in. And there's also what you call developmental margin. He says that they have done 120 factories. Of course, I will discount it. 109, right? That's what you said. They have not built a single factory. They've not built a single factory. They've only attached themselves to those factories and given them some support. Randy, those 109 factories, where are they supposed to get energy from? Because they didn't exist even 3 years ago. So if you don't have a development margin, that factors this in. How are you going to, and to build a power plant from financial closure to putting it up, you are talking about 3 years. So they should have waited 3 years before providing power for the 109 factories you say you have built. So that is tunnel vision. Again, Randy, if take-or-pay clauses were so bad, they were devilish, demonic, why has this government extended the Car Power agreement, which has a take-or-pay clause, by 10 years? the AXA agreement expires in June. They have given indication to the Energy and Mines Committee that they will be extending it for 5 years. Indeed, they are engaged in negotiations as I speak. Randy, they are doing an LNG project in Tema as I speak. That LNG project, the contract that governs it, has take or pay clauses in them. So if take or pay clauses were that bad, they were terrible, they were horrible, why are you extending these agreements? And why have you inserted one in your own agreement? The answer is that there's nothing wrong with them, except that sometimes they don't respect the people they govern. So they tell the biggest lies. And unfortunately...
In fact, in the LNG one, something I've been picking up, and John Junapo raised here, is that it is pegged to...
the dollar. If it goes up,
yes.
But there's a floor, you cannot go beyond that.
Now, when it is dropping...
You cannot
They have a benchmark below which if
you cannot
falls,
drop. Yes,
but when it's going up,
right,
there is no cap.
Even that will make sense because the investor has to protect. So I am not going to condemn them for having take or pay clause. It is necessary to attract the investment. We don't have the money to do it. Somebody is coming to put his money in, and you said that it is possible for him to produce, and you won't take it. How is he supposed to?
Yeah, so the investor has every right to protect their investment by looking out
at whether the rates are given
by you. You also. The country that is entering into the agreement must also protect your interests by putting a seal.
So there's a balance. Exactly.
So you cannot have an agreement that only favors.
Your point is well taken.
Yes.
It can be the subject of another discussion.
Right.
But the point I'm making is that the claim about 17 billion Ghana cedi payments in capacity charges is false. Randy, also, I have cited a document which shows that the IPPs and ECG are incurring huge forest losses because of the depreciation in the city. Indeed, one document I saw showed that in 2020 alone, $53 million loss was incurred in forest losses. So multiply that by the whole year. And government has to pay for this. What is happening is that the IPPs sell power to ECG in dollars. But ECG sells it in cedis. So when there's a depreciation, they need more cedis to buy the power. But they are not allowed to increase tariffs to accommodate the increase. Government says it will pay. When they don't pay, it accumulates debt, and eventually they pay. So that is why you see this government grant. It is to take care of things like that. And yet,
because you see, one of the things that I find, Doc, you can take note of that, that if the finance minister appears before Parliament and he tells Parliament that for 4 years, from 2017 to 2020, we spent 938 million on the take or pay. What it presupposes is that we're spending an average of about $230 million a year.
Exactly.
That's 2017 to 2020, 938. How can we, in the first quarter of 2022, be talking about 17 billion?
Exactly. And then you see, yes, it is true that they are making payments, but they are not capacity charge payments because of take or pay clauses, which they are forced to pay whether they are good or not. That is the point I want to make. It is their own decision. In 2018, you recall that they announced that they had reduced tariffs. Once you do that, ECG is going to incur a loss. So to avoid that, you must make up for the loss. That's what we call a subsidy. So if you pay that based on your own politically motivated decision, you cannot come and say that it is take or pay. So when I say that Bawumia peddled falsehood and his facts were not correct, this is an incontrovertible fact. Otherwise, let Dr. here give us a breakdown of those capacity charge payments.
I would.
You understand the point I'm making?
Yes.
This is what is causing the problem.